They say money talks, but in today's world, it often just whispers through the hum of credit card swipes and the shine of leased cars. Everywhere you look, someone's trying to look rich. The designer sneakers, the latest iPhone, the luxury vacations posted online. But here's the uncomfortable truth. The more we try to look rich, the harder it becomes to become rich. Let's unpack why that happens. It starts with social signaling. Humans are wired to show status. Thousands of years ago, it might have been the biggest hut in the village or the most colorful beads. Today, it's a Rolex, a Tesla, or a curated Instagram feed. The desire hasn't changed, only the medium has. But now, the cost of signaling has skyrocketed. Take this. In the United States, the average household credit card balance in 2024 hit around $6,218, according to the Federal Reserve. That's not because people suddenly started buying more essentials. It's lifestyle inflation, spending more as you earn more, often just to keep up appearances. Think about a young professional earning $80,000 a year. On paper, that's solid. But between rent, car payments, clothes for work, dinners out, and the latest gadgets, that income starts evaporating. Now, imagine they buy a $50,000 car, financed, of course. 5 years later, that car might be worth $20,000. Meanwhile, the monthly $700 payments have prevented any serious investment. That's not wealth, that's a treadmill. And it's exhausting. There's a fascinating study from the National Bureau of Economic Research that found this paradox. People with lower actual wealth tend to spend more of their income on visible goods, clothes, jewelry, cars, compared to those who are genuinely wealthy. Why? Because when you don't have wealth, you compensate by showing signs of it. When you do have wealth, you don't need to prove it. It's the quiet millionaires next door who drive 10-year-old cars and wear simple clothes. They're not performing for anyone. They're building something quietly. Let's look at an example. Meet Sarah and Mike. They both earn $100,000 a year. Sarah drives a modest used car, invests 20% of her income, and rarely buys on credit. Mike leases a BMW, wears luxury brands, and spends weekends at expensive restaurants. 10 years later, Sarah's investments, growing at an average of 7% a year, are worth around $275,000. Mike, he's still making payments and wondering why he's always short on cash. The difference isn't income, it's mindset. Trying to look rich keeps you poor because it traps you in what psychologists call the hedonic treadmill. You get a dopamine hit from buying something new, the shoes, the car, the watch. But that feeling fades faster than you think. And when it does, you need another hit, another purchase, another flex. It's not wealth you're chasing, it's validation. And here's the kicker. The people you're trying to impress usually don't care. In fact, they're often too busy worrying about their own image to notice yours. The problem is magnified by social media. Platforms like Instagram and TikTok are designed to make you compare. The average person spends over 2 hours a day scrolling through curated lives, vacations, luxury brands, dream homes. But remember, you're comparing your behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel. That's not a fair game. A 2023 study out of the University of Pennsylvania found that people who reduced their social media time by just 30 minutes a day reported lower financial stress and less impulse spending. Less scrolling literally equals more saving. Now, let's talk about the most dangerous illusion, affordable luxury. Brands have mastered the art of making you feel rich without actually being rich. A $300 pair of sneakers, a $1,200 phone upgrade, a $15 cocktail that's really just juice and ice in a fancy glass. These things don't seem extravagant individually, but over a year, they quietly drain thousands. Americans on average spend about $1,500 a year on coffee and takeout lunches. If that money were invested monthly into an index fund averaging 7% returns, you'd have nearly $75,000 after 20 years. That's the hidden cost of trying to look successful every day. Here's another trap: financing the lifestyle. Credit has made fake wealth easy. Buy now, pay later. 0% interest for 12 months. Points, miles, rewards. It feels smart, but it's not, because every borrowed dollar is a future obligation. When your paycheck arrives already spoken for, you're not free. You're working for your past self, the one who wanted to look rich instead of become rich. Now, let's contrast that with real wealth. Wealth isn't the car you drive. It's the freedom to choose when you drive, where you go, and why you go there. Wealth is time. It's security. It's not having a panic attack when the fridge breaks or when your job ends. True wealth is invisible. It's sitting quietly in a retirement account, a rental property, or a diversified portfolio. It doesn't shout, it whispers through the calm confidence of someone who doesn't need to prove anything. Let's zoom out for a second. In 2024, household net worth in the US hit a record high, but so did consumer debt. Total household debt climbed past $17.5 trillion, the highest ever recorded. That means even as people earn more, they're owing more. It's the illusion of progress. And that illusion is fueled by consumer culture. Advertising tells us that happiness is one purchase away. But notice something, the truly rich don't fall for that. Warren Buffett, one of the richest men alive, still lives in the same Omaha house he bought in 1958 for $31,500. He could buy any mansion in the world, but he doesn't, because he understands that wealth isn't about spending, it's about owning. People often say, you can't take it with you. That's true, but you can pass it on. And that's another reason why pretending to be rich keeps you poor, because it prevents you from building generational wealth. When every dollar is spent on lifestyle, there's nothing left to compound, no assets to grow, no foundation for the next generation. Compound interest is the quiet miracle of wealth. Even small, consistent investments can grow massively over time. Albert Einstein supposedly called it the eighth wonder of the world. Whether that quote is true or not, the math sure is. If you invest just $500 a month at 7% annual growth, in 30 years you'll have nearly $610,000. That's not luck, that's discipline. And discipline doesn't come from trying to impress anyone. Here's something most people never realize. The people who look rich are often deeply in debt. The people who are rich often look ordinary. A study by Thomas Stanley, author of The Millionaire Next Door, found that the majority of millionaires in America live below their means. They buy used cars, shop with coupons, and avoid debt. They focus on assets, not image. Meanwhile, high-income professionals, doctors, lawyers, executives, can fall into the high-status trap. They earn a lot, but they spend just as much to maintain appearances. So even with six-figure salaries, their net worth stays low. Earning a lot doesn't make you rich. Keeping a lot does. Let's talk psychology for a moment. When you buy something expensive, your brain releases dopamine. It feels good, but it's temporary. Soon after, your brain adjusts to the new normal, and suddenly you need something more to feel that same satisfaction. That's the hedonic adaptation cycle. Real wealth, on the other hand, is boring, in a good way. It's slow, steady, and often invisible. It's automatic transfers, dollar-cost averaging, and compound returns. The excitement doesn't come from buying. It comes from watching your net worth grow quietly in the background while you live life on your terms. Now, imagine if you flipped your mindset. Instead of asking, how can I look successful? Ask, what can I own that grows while I sleep? That one question changes everything. Because when you focus on ownership, stocks, real estate, businesses, your money starts working for you. When you focus on appearance, you're working for your money. Every dollar you spend trying to appear wealthy is a soldier that never returns. Every dollar you invest is a soldier that brings back reinforcements. Wealth isn't built by spending, it's built by multiplying. Let's make it personal. Think about your last big purchase, something you bought because it made you feel successful. A gadget, a car, a trip. Ask yourself, did it change your life or just your image? Was it worth trading hours, weeks, maybe months of your labor? Now, imagine taking that same money and using it to buy shares of an S&P 500 ETF. 10 years from now, that single decision could be worth double, maybe triple. The luxury item fades, the investment grows. It's not about deprivation. No one's saying you can't enjoy life or reward yourself, but there's a difference between enjoyment and impressment. Enjoyment is buying something that adds genuine value to your life. Impressment is buying something to earn approval. And approval is temporary, but debt is permanent. Let's revisit Sarah and Mike. Remember them? Sarah invested early, lived modestly, and built assets. Mike spent big to look successful. When they both hit 50, Sarah has options: early retirement, travel, maybe start a side business. Mike has obligations, car loans, credit cards, and no savings cushion. Same income, different priorities, different lives. That's the real cost of pretending. The good news is you can change your trajectory today. You don't need a massive salary to start building wealth. You just need a mindset shift. Start tracking your spending. Find the leaks, the little luxuries that don't really matter. Redirect those dollars toward assets, not aesthetics. Set a simple goal. Spend less than you earn and invest the difference consistently. That formula has created more millionaires than any trend or hustle ever will. And here's a little secret. Once you stop trying to look rich, you actually start feeling richer. Because you're not chasing anyone else's approval anymore. You're free from comparison. You're focused on your own goals, your own future. That peace of mind, that quiet confidence, is what real wealth feels like. It's not flashy, it's not loud, it's calm, it's freedom. So next time you're tempted by the newest gadget or the latest luxury trend, pause. Ask yourself, am I buying this for me or for how I want others to see me? That one moment of honesty can save you years of financial stress. Because wealth isn't about looking successful, it's about being successful, quietly, consistently, and sustainably. And if you want more insights like this, remember to subscribe to Taz's Money. We're here to help you master your money, not let it master you. At the end of the day, the richest people aren't always the ones you see. They're the ones you don't notice because they're too busy building, saving, and living life on their terms. Trying to look rich keeps you poor, but living below your means, investing wisely, and focusing on real value, that's what builds lasting wealth. So stop performing wealth, start creating it. Because when you no longer need to prove you're rich, that's when you truly are.